Have you ever wondered why some people leave you feeling calm and inspired, while others leave you anxious, exhausted, and doubting yourself? Here's the scary truth. The people around you directly shape your mental health. And while we often focus on therapy, meditation, or exercise, one of the biggest threats to your peace of mind is something we don't talk about enough: toxic people. And I don't mean someone who just annoys you once in a while. I'm talking about those who constantly criticize you but disguise it as honesty, manipulate you into feeling guilty just for setting boundaries, drain your energy with drama, negativity, and constant chaos, or make you feel like you're never enough, no matter what you do. Now here's why this matters. Toxic behavior doesn't just frustrate you in the moment. It can rewire the way you see yourself in the world. Over time, it can lead to stress, anxiety, burnout, low self-esteem, and even depression. Think of your mind as a phone battery. Every day you spend energy on work, relationships, and responsibilities. But toxic people, they're like apps running in the background, constantly draining your energy, even when you're not actively engaging with them. And the worst part? Many people don't even realize it's happening. They blame themselves for feeling weak or too sensitive, when in reality, they're carrying the weight of someone else's toxic patterns. But here's the good news. You have more power than you think. You might not be able to control who shows up in your life, but you can absolutely control how much space they occupy in your mind. In this video, I'll walk you through 1. How to spot the hidden signs of toxicity before it damages your mental health. 2. The practical tools to protect your boundaries without feeling guilty. 3. How to heal and regain your strength, even if you can't fully cut someone off. 4. And how to build a circle of people who bring you peace, not pain. Because at the end of the day, protecting your mental health isn't just about keeping toxic people out. It's about choosing yourself every single time. The 7 types of toxic people you must protect yourself from. Let me ask you something. If you saw smoke in your house, would you wait until the fire got bigger before acting? Of course not. You'd deal with it immediately. But when it comes to toxic people, that's exactly what most of us do. We see little signs, little red flags, but we ignore them, hoping things will get better. The problem is, they usually don't. Toxic behavior spreads like fire, and the longer you wait, the more damage it does to your mental health. So let's talk about the 7 most common types of toxic people. As you listen, I want you to reflect. Have you met someone like this in your own life? 1. The constant critic. This person never seems satisfied. No matter what you do, it's never good enough. They disguise their hurtful comments as just being honest, but honesty without kindness is cruelty. Over time, their words start living in your head, and you begin doubting your own worth. 2. The drama magnet. For them, life is one endless soap opera. There's always chaos, conflict, or some emergency. And guess what? You're always dragged into it. Spending time with them feels like emotional whiplash, exhausting and unpredictable. There's the manipulator. These people don't ask for what they want. They twist situations to get it. They'll use guilt, silent treatment, or emotional blackmail to control you. And here's the danger. You may not even realize you're being manipulated until you're deeply entangled. 4. The victim. No matter what happens, it's never their fault. The world is always against them, and they refuse to take responsibility. At first, you might feel compassion, but soon you'll realize supporting them drains you because they don't want solutions. They want sympathy without change. 5. The jealous competitor. They can't celebrate your wins. Instead of being happy for you, they subtly downplay your achievements or try to outdo you. Being around them makes you shrink your own light, just so they don't feel threatened. 6. The narcissist. For them, everything revolves around me, myself, and I. They crave attention, admiration, and control. They lack empathy, and your needs will always come second to theirs. If you've ever felt invisible in a relationship, chances are you've met one. 7. The energy vampire. They might not be openly cruel, but being with them always leaves you drained. They constantly complain, dump their problems on you, or expect you to carry their emotional load. At the end of the day, you feel like you've been running a marathon without moving an inch forward. Here's the reality: anyone can have a bad day. But if you notice these patterns showing up again and again, it's no longer an accident. It's a cycle. And if you don't protect yourself, your mental health will pay the price. Now that you know the red flags, the next step is crucial: setting boundaries. Because recognizing toxic people is only half the battle. The real power lies in teaching them how close or how far they're allowed to come into your life. Let's be honest, most people know when someone is toxic. The problem isn't recognizing it. The problem is this: we don't know how to stop it without feeling like the bad person. We worry about hurting feelings. We don't want to seem selfish. And so instead of protecting our peace, we sacrifice it over and over again. But here's the truth. Boundaries are not walls. They're doors. And you have every right to decide who gets to enter and under what conditions. Let's break down how to do this in real life. Step 1. Get clear on what you will and will not accept. Boundaries start with clarity. Ask yourself, what behaviors drain me the most? What comments or actions trigger my stress or anxiety? What kind of treatment feels disrespectful to me? Write it down if you have to. Because once you're clear, it's easier to communicate it. Step 2. Communicate calmly, but firmly. A common mistake is waiting until you explode. But boundaries don't have to come with anger. You can say, I'm not comfortable discussing this topic. I won't respond to messages after 10 p.m. If you raise your voice, I'll step out of the conversation. Notice how these are clear, calm, and non-negotiable. Step 3. Detach from their reaction. This is the hardest part. Toxic people often push back when you set boundaries because they benefit from your lack of them. But remember, their reaction is not your responsibility. Your job is to protect your peace, not to manage their emotions. Think of it like putting up a fence around your garden. If a neighbor complains that your fence blocks their shortcut, that's not your problem. It's your land, your space, your right. Step 4. Use distance as a tool. Not every boundary has to be spoken. Sometimes the most powerful boundary is simply reducing contact. Limit how much time you spend with draining people. Don't engage in every argument. Protect your time like the valuable resource it is. Step 5. Replace guilt with self-respect. Here's the mindset shift. Saying no to someone else is saying yes to yourself. Every time you honor your boundaries, you reinforce your self-worth. You're teaching yourself and others that your peace is non-negotiable. And here's something to keep in mind. Healthy people respect boundaries. Toxic people resist them. Their reaction will tell you everything you need to know about the relationship. So, the next time you feel guilty for setting limits, remember this. You are not being cruel. You are being kind to yourself. And that is the foundation of mental health. Here's the thing most people don't realize. Even after you set boundaries or walk away from a toxic person, the damage doesn't instantly disappear. Words echo. Memories linger. And sometimes the scars left behind keep hurting long after the relationship ends. But the good news is this. Healing is possible. You can rebuild your mental health, reclaim your energy, and step back into your full self. Let's explore how. 1. Acknowledge the impact. Too often we minimize what happened. We say things like, it wasn't that bad. Maybe I'm just too sensitive. I should be over it by now. But here's the truth. If someone consistently disrespected you, manipulated you, or drained you, it was that bad. Healing begins when you validate your own experience instead of brushing it aside. 2. Release the guilt. Toxic people often make you feel like everything is your fault. They project their issues onto you until you start believing you're the problem. One of the most powerful steps in healing is to remind yourself, daily, their behavior was about them, not about me. You didn't cause their toxicity. You only absorbed the consequences. 3. Rebuild your self-esteem. Think of self-esteem as a muscle. Toxic people weaken it with criticism, manipulation, and control. Now it's time to strengthen it again. Practical ways to do this. Keep a journal of your daily wins, no matter how small. Surround yourself with people who genuinely uplift you. Practice affirmations that feel authentic, like, I deserve respect. My feelings are valid. I am enough as I am. Every small act of self-respect is like lifting a weight. It builds strength over time. 4. Practice emotional detox. Just as your body sometimes needs detox from unhealthy food, your mind needs detox from toxic energy. This could mean limiting exposure to negative media or gossip, spending more time in nature, practicing mindfulness or meditation to clear out mental clutter. You can't heal in the same environment that broke you. Change your inputs and your inner world will start to shift. 5. Seek professional or community support. Healing doesn't have to be a solo journey. Talking to a therapist can help you process trauma and rebuild healthier patterns. And community, friends, mentors, or support groups reminds you that you're not alone and that healthier connections do exist. Here's the key. Healing is not about erasing the past. It's about learning from it, growing stronger, and reclaiming your sense of self. Every step you take toward healing is a declaration that your peace matters, your life matters, and your voice matters. Building a circle of support, surrounding yourself with the right people. Here's a simple truth. You can't fully protect your mental health by only cutting out toxic people. You also need to replace that space with something better, with people who genuinely lift you up. Because human beings are wired for connection, and the quality of your connections directly shapes the quality of your life. So how do you build a circle of support? Let's break it down. 1. Look for energy givers, not energy takers. Healthy people leave you feeling lighter, not heavier. Ask yourself after every interaction, do I feel calmer or more anxious? Do I feel seen or invisible? Do I feel encouraged or drained? Your body already knows the answer. Pay attention to it. 2. Choose depth over quantity. You don't need 50 friends. You need a handful of people who genuinely have your back. People who celebrate your wins without envy and stand by you in your struggles without judgment. A small circle of authentic relationships is worth more than a crowd of shallow ones. 3. Set the standard by example. The best way to attract healthy people is to become one yourself. Show respect, communicate honestly, keep boundaries, and uplift others. Like energy attracts like energy. When you carry yourself with self-respect, people who value respect will naturally gravitate toward you. 4. Diversify your support system. Don't rely on just one person for all your emotional needs. Instead, build different layers of support. A close friend for heart-to-heart talks. A mentor for guidance and growth. A community or group where you feel a sense of belonging. This way, your emotional foundation doesn't collapse if one person pulls away. 5. Remember, quality requires intention. Healthy connections don't just happen by accident. You have to choose them. That means sometimes saying no to superficial invitations, and yes to fewer but deeper bonds. The people you surround yourself with are like mirrors. They reflect back the kind of life you're building. So ask yourself, do my connections reflect who I want to become? At the end of the day, your mental health isn't just about avoiding harm. It's about creating an environment where you can thrive. And the truth is, you deserve to be surrounded by people who remind you of your worth, not people who make you question it. We've uncovered who toxic people are, how to recognize them, how to set boundaries, how to heal, and how to surround yourself with the right people. But here's the most important takeaway. Your mental health is your responsibility, and that is not a burden, it's your power. Because every single day you get to choose. You choose who gets access to your time. You choose whose words you let live in your mind. You choose whether to carry someone else's poison or to let it go. And these choices, small as they seem, build the foundation of your peace. Daily practices to protect your peace. 1. Morning check-in. Start each day asking yourself, what do I need today to feel grounded? A moment of silence, a walk, journaling, or even just a deep breath. It sets the tone before the world gets loud. 2. Boundary reminder. Write down one boundary that matters to you and repeat it to yourself daily. Example, I don't owe anyone access to me at the cost of my peace. 3. Energy audit. At the end of the day, reflect. Who left me drained? Who left me inspired? Slowly adjust where you invest your energy. 4. Detachment ritual. After a stressful interaction, practice releasing it. Some people imagine closing a door in their mind. Others journal it out. The key is this. Don't carry toxic residue into tomorrow. Have gratitude for the good ones. Finally, don't just focus on avoiding toxicity. Celebrate the people who bring light into your life. Thank them, cherish them, and nurture those bonds. Here's the truth. Toxic people lose their power the moment you realize you have a choice. And protecting your mental health isn't about being cold or selfish. It's about honoring your worth. Because when your mind is clear and your heart is steady, you're not just protecting yourself. You're also becoming the kind of person who can bring peace, love, and light into the lives of others. So remember this. You say no when you need to. Say yes to your own peace. You to never forget, you are worth protecting. If this video spoke to you, take a moment to reflect. Who in your life do you need to set boundaries with today? And what's one small action you can take right now to protect your mental health? Because the first step toward freedom is awareness, and the next step is action.